First Steps Question Day, sponsored by Trantolo and Trantolo, your personal injury or serious injury law firm. Keith and Scott, third generation Trantolos, doing business in Hartford, Waterbury, Bridgeport, New Haven, Torrington. They have offices now in New York, Long Island area, Riverhead, and Melville. To get a hold of them, just dial 9-844-999-9999. Are we okay with colleges now coming out publicly and saying they are going to pay athletes to try to add to the NIL and make things more even if kids aren't getting NIL from companies?
If you look at it that way and you look at it face value, you just look at it like colleges able to pay kids. I'm not for that. Not for that. I think this is going to totally tip the balances of competitive advantage if they aren't already, and I understand that a lot of these colleges have already been doing this. They just haven't been doing it on the books. But my other thing is, like, this is basically professional sports. You are now not really a student athlete. Like, let's say you have a kid that you're paying a lot of money to and he never goes to class. Are you going to hold his feet to the fire? I hope so. I really do, but I think a lot of these rules are just going to go by the wayside, and we're basically watching Alabama's professional team versus Auburn's professional team. These aren't the students of the school. They don't represent the school other than playing the sport. And to me, that's not really college athletics. That's not really a student athlete. But if you read more into this, Dibbs, it really seems to me like the NCAA and all these conferences are trying to circumvent the word employee. And if they can get away from having collective bargaining agreements, 40-hour work weeks, overtime and insurance, then they will. And they're going to try to settle this. This is a settlement right now that hasn't hit the books because still the government has to approve it, that they're going to pay kids all the way back to 2016 as a part of the settlement of all the negotiations that they've done with all these big networks and made all these millions of dollars on top of the kids' performances. This has been kind of a lawsuit with Dartmouth trying to unionize, the kid from Colorado who has Fortno, who has his own lawsuit against the NCAA, and a lot of other NCAA employee-related lawsuits that if they get approved by the government, they are going to circumvent the word employee, and they're going to be off and running with doing whatever they want to do as far as compensating these student athletes.
I'm with you. I mean, listen, there's so many more universities. Like, we could just take the Ivy League, for instance. They have endowments that are worth billions.
Yeah.
And there's many, many schools, including UConn, that do not.
Yeah.
So you're talking Texas and some of these other universities, or Texas A&M, who just let a coach go, and I don't know, what was his payoff, like 100 and something million?
74, I think.
Yeah, when
74.
you have that kind of money and your boosters have that kind of money, there's no way it can be fairly distributed amongst the universities. So the problem, and you know what, Tim Brando had a really good video that he put out on X today talking about that whether it's NCAA basketball or Division I football, they've got to get a handle on the transfer portal and not allow the athletes to run the game and run colleges. And that's the way it looks like right now, that the players can just bounce around college to college. That's not really what I think the transfer portal was intended to do.
That now is called free agency.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be every year because it's not even allowed in the pros like that.
Right.
You got to go 6 years in MLB to be a free agent. So that's just crazy that you're allowed to bounce every year. So something needs to happen with some of the restrictions here.
We'll see where it goes, but this is a major story because it's going to affect a lot of us and what we do and how we root for these teams and how we watch them.
All right, when we come back, we'll do Who You Got.
Woo!
Got a lot of different playoffs going on in the NBA, NHL. See where our baseball team for UConn may end up, what we think. We'll be right back with Who You Got.
Hey, this